Hello, it's Darren Chaplin here from Cornwall Rural Community Charity. I'm the mental health lead at the charity, and I'm putting together some videos, some very short films for people during this lockdown period to try and support them with their mental health, and hopefully we are trying to support communities through the lockdown to ensure that they maintain their mental well-being as much as possible. And the video that I'm recording at the moment is going to be about news and social media. Our brains are not really designed for the modern world, and quite often we get bombarded by information. There's so much information out there on a daily basis that we come into contact with that our brains tend to filter out a lot of it. But if we are spending a lot of time watching the news and going on social media, then quite often it can have a negative effect on how we think and how we feel. This is because quite often the news focuses on the negatives, especially at the moment during the current crisis. The thing that's newsworthy is the headline figures of how many deaths there have been and the negatives rather than the positives. And so it's important that we probably limit the amount of time that we spend watching the news and spending on social media. We live in a world where it's 24/7 coverage, and we've got access to social media all of the time throughout the day. We can switch on our Facebook account at any point and see some news on there. We can switch on the television, one of the news channels, whatever. And there's a constant stream of information being given to us, and some of it isn't real, some of it isn't true. Quite a lot of conspiracy theories on social media, and at times like this, during pandemics and during crisis, people will share their theories and not necessarily the truth, and they will try and find information that backs up what they say. And there's a lot of people out there who will create information to suit their own cause. So just be aware of that, and just be aware that it might not be a good thing for our mental well-being to spending lots of time subjecting ourselves to the news and social media at this point in time. People sharing things that aren't accurate can increase anxiety. There's a mixture of opinions, lots of conspiracy type posts, like I said. Try to limit how much I'm not saying don't go on social media and don't watch the news, because it's important that we keep up to date with the information that's coming through from the government, because things are changing quite rapidly and we're heading towards the end of lockdown now. So things will start to change and rules will start to change, and there will be new rules implemented, and it's important that we know what those rules are. So my suggestion would be, if you're feeling anxious about things and you're starting to worry about the current situation, is to limit yourself to maybe watching one news report, probably later in the day, so that you get the most up-to-date information. But my advice would be to avoid watching it just before you go to bed. Don't make it the last thing you do before you go to bed, because you will spend a lot of time as you're drifting off to sleep ruminating over what you've just heard, and it will affect your sleep. And we've done a previous film about sleep, and so it's important that you switch off before you go to sleep, and you don't have that rattling around in your head as the last thing that you've heard before you go to bed. But yeah, I would limit yourself to a limited time on social media. I don't know how much time you spend on social media. I spend far too much time on social media, but limit yourself if it's starting to make you anxious and you're starting to worry about things. And what I would say is everything in moderation. Just like most things, they're good in moderation, as long as you don't oversaturate your brain with the information that is coming through, or the disinformation that's coming through in some cases. I hope that's been helpful. I will catch you in another video. Thanks a lot. Cheers.